Welcome back, guys, to the Andrew Village podcast. Let's get it fucking started. I'm going to be alone reality check. Okay, guys, so should I start off with football? Nah, I'll leave football for last. Let me start off with, okay, guys, we all have friends, right? And now, the older you get, the older you grow, the more you realize that you don't actually have as many friends as you think you have. Goes for me, goes for everyone I know. When I was like 12 years old, when I was like 8 years old, I had like fucking 50 friends, right? But now that I'm 25, I'm like, if I'm lucky, I have 5 real friends. If I'm lucky, now I'm being generous. I'm trying to be like as generous as possible. I have maybe like 5 real friends that I can truly count on for something that's really important, for like a last minute change or like whatever, right? So the older you grow, the less friends you have. Well, I guess the less friends you have, the less real friends you have, or maybe it's just like you realize that you don't have that many real friends. I guess that's what happens, because even when you're young, it's like when you're young, you become friends easily, right? Oh, broski, you love Pokemon? Well, I love Pokemon too. Let's be best friends. Like that's how it works when you're young, right? Like when you're in high school or in elementary school, that's how it works. But when you're like over the age of 20, 21, going to university, going to work full time after university, or just going to work full time after high school, that's when making friends is a bit harder. And same goes for men and women, although I feel like men have a way, way easier time making friends than women. Many different aspects why. But I feel like men have more real friends than women in general, of course. So yeah, so maybe because when we grow older, we realize not everyone's your friend, simply because he likes Pokemon and he likes something. Just because you have something in common with someone else doesn't necessarily mean that he's your friend, or even more precisely, a good friend or a close friend. Like I said, I consider to have 5 close friends, if I'm lucky, right? And I'm not counting Luca in this, that's my brother. But that's what I mean. So the older you get, the more you realize we don't have that many friends. But one thing that's always been a dilemma, not only for me, but for everyone, is to know, how do you know who's a real friend? Who can you trust? And how do you realize, okay, is this guy, okay, I met this guy maybe 3 years ago. Is he a real friend? Can I truly count on him? Like, is he real? Is he going to backstab me? Is he ever going to turn his back against me? Is he ever going to talk shit? Is he ever going to backstab me? Whatever. In my opinion, when it comes to something like this, it's a tricky situation. Why? Because no one's perfect, right? So you can have someone who's a close friend who's never going to backstab you, but maybe you cannot truly know, because maybe once he did something that he regrets, he did something against you that wasn't actually good and wasn't something that a real friend would do. But maybe he only did it once in circumstances and just by accident, even maybe, or maybe he regrets it and then he apologized and he truly wants to apologize and then you truly forgive him. But then maybe later on you're like, well, is he truly my friend? He backstabbed me once. He talked shit about me once in the past. Like, is he truly my friend? So that's why it's like a gray zone. It's not like black or white, right? It's not like, oh, he's my friend, he's not my friend. It's really a gray zone. So I feel like, in my opinion, maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe I'm going to change my opinion in a couple of years from now. I feel like when it comes to these types of situations, trusting your gut, trusting your intuition is the best way to go. Because like I said, someone can be an amazing friend to you. Amazing friend. For 4 years, he's never done something wrong, never did anything wrong. And then there's like a slip up. He backstabs you. Now, depending on the backstab, right? There are some backstabs that are bigger than others. Some are smaller than others, right? That's normal. But I feel like, you know what? Maybe he's been really, really good to you. Then one thing happens. Then you're like, okay, he's still my friend, or he's not my friend anymore. But then even if you keep him as a friend, you can question yourself, like, is he truly a good friend? Is he like one of my best friends? Can I truly trust him? Like, how close am I to this guy? It's really a gray zone, because it's not black or white. It's not like it's either he's your friend or he's not your friend. It's not like you can trust him or you can't trust him. I guess it's like also layers. It's like a gray zone with many layers. Like, okay, I have this specific friend where I can trust him when it comes to this, but I can't trust him when it comes to this for X, Y reasons, right? Maybe you have a friend that when it comes to lending money, you can trust him. Why? Because of previous experiences. You know that I lended him money in the past and he always repaid me back on a specific date, time that we agreed upon, and he was never late. So I guess when it comes to like money, you're like, okay, I can trust him. But maybe when it comes to women and him not trying to hit up your girl or hit up your girlfriend, maybe in the past he slept with his ex-best friend's wife. Maybe that happened in the past. You're like, okay, I can trust him when it comes to lending money, but I can't trust him around my wife or around my girlfriend because I know what he's like. But again, if I take that specific scenario that just came at the top of my head, if I take that specific scenario, then there's also, you have to trust your wife, right? If you can't trust your friend around your wife, it's not only your friend who's in the wrong, it's also your wife, your girlfriend or a girl that you're seeing, right? Because if you can't trust your wife or your girlfriend around your homeboys, around your friends, well, then it goes on both sides. It means you don't have real friends. It means that those friends aren't your real friends. And also it means that that woman, that girl that you're seeing or that you're married to or that is your girlfriend, that means that she's not truly your wife and she's not truly your girlfriend if you can't trust her. Then that goes on both sides. But you get the gist, right? You get what I'm trying to say is when it comes to knowing, is this guy a real friend? Can I truly trust him? To what extent can I trust him? In what specific terms can I trust him? In what regards can I trust him? You have to trust your gut. In my opinion, there's no right. I mean, there is a right or wrong, but it's not like 2 + 2 = 4. There's not a specific answer. There's not a single answer. So you have to truly trust your gut, in my opinion, when it comes to these type of situations of, is he a true friend? Can I trust him? For what scenario can I trust him? Can I trust him with a secret? Can I trust him with money? Can I trust him with my girlfriends? Can I trust him with whatever? In my opinion, the best thing to do is to trust your gut, your intuition, and to also realize that no one is perfect. No human being is perfect. And no human being will ever be 100% perfect with you. And same goes the other way. Never will you be 100% perfect with someone else. So of course, we have to be tolerant to a certain degree. Of course, we have to be open-minded, again, to a certain degree. But it's like a mix of everything. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's all about trusting your gut and trusting your intuition when it comes to these types of situations. Every day you waste is a day you'll never get back. That's a fucking fact. And days go by so quickly. Weeks go by so quickly. Even months go by so quickly. And even years go by really fucking quickly. Guys, if you're young, if you're below the age of 18 and you're listening to this, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm in high school right now, and I feel like my years in high school will never be over. I feel like it's fucking slow. Believe me, the older you grow, the more you realize how fastly time goes by. Time goes by really fucking fast, man. The older you get, the more you're gonna realize that. And the older you get, the more that's gonna be a reality. I'm 25 right now. And just imagining that in 15 years, I'm gonna be 40, that's actually insane. It's crazy. Like, of course, 15 years is a lot. I can still accomplish a lot in 15 years. Like, a lot can happen. But to realize that in 15 years, I'm gonna be 40 is still something. To realize that in 5 years, I'm gonna be 30, bro. I remember when I was 15, like if it was 2 weeks ago, in 5 years, I'm gonna be 30, bro. 30. I know that's not a lot, but still, man, I'm gonna be 30. And I remember when I was in high school at the age of 15, 16, 17, like if it was yesterday. I remember that vividly like that. But again, I feel like, in my opinion, the more I do with my life, the more things I try, the more I do, the more I work, the more I strive towards my goals, the more I travel, the more I experience life, the more I live life, I feel like time slows down more and time goes by slowly because you're doing more. I don't know why. Like sometimes when recently I'm really busy with school, work, gym, podcast, and that's mostly what I'm the most busy with. And I'm really, really busy with those things, with the gym, with podcast, work, school. And I feel like time goes by way slower than if I was to do nothing. Let's say I was to drop out of school, not finish my degree in university. I was to not work a full-time job. I was to stop doing podcasts and not going to the gym. I feel like days would go by really, really fucking quickly because you're not doing shit. But when you're really, really busy and you're doing a lot of things that you're passionate about and that you really love doing, I feel like it slows down time a lot, man. I don't know why. I guess it's just Maybe there's like a fucking scientific reason behind it. Probably there is. I'm not sure what it is. But in my personal opinion, the more I do things, the more I move towards my goals, the more I go to the gym, the more I stay busy, time slows down a lot, man, in my opinion. And I mean, that's just like extra motivation to stay busy. Time goes by way, way slower. You get way, way more accomplished. You get closer to accomplishing your dreams. You get way, way more done. And just being, there's no downside. There's no con to being busy. There's no con to going to driving towards your goals. There's no cons when you're doing busy stuff that is productive. There's no cons to being productive. No cons. It's all pros. There's no cons to being a hardworking individual. There's only pros. There's no cons to being disciplined. There's literally zero cons to being disciplined. It's all pros. That's extra motivation. And there's no cons. There's zero cons. And it's all pros to being busy in life. All pros. So I preach that many times on my podcast. Always stay busy. And every single day, wake up grateful that you're alive, grateful for everything you have, grateful for all the blessings that God gave you, and always be on full throttle to attack the day to the max, get the most out of the day, accomplish the most you can, face the most fears, approach the most people, try the most things, do the most you can for that day to have the most successful day that you fucking can, man. And also, if I might add, I understand people, when we say that time goes by slowly, that's true. The time goes by quickly, that's true. Now, there's two ways you can look at this. You can look at it with fear, like, oh my God, time goes by so quickly. What am I going to do? What's going to happen? Or you can use it as motivation, saying that, okay, time goes by quickly. The best way to slow it down is by being busy, by doing everything I want to do, not giving a fuck what other people think, and just attacking every single day like a fucking animal. That's the best way, the best thing you can do. And by choosing the second option, first of all, you're going to be mentally way happier, way more joyful. You're going to have way less stress, way less problems. You're going to get closer and closer to your dreams. From what we know, you only live once. So if you're only going to live once, live your life to the fullest, man. Accomplish all your goals. Go against everything you want to go. Do whatever you want to do as long as it's not illegal, because then you're going to go to jail and you're going to waste a lot of fucking time in jail. But do what you have to do. Now, you shouldn't be afraid of the fact that time goes by quickly. You should use it as motivation, because let's say you say, okay, I want to start a podcast. And then you're like, okay, but let's say you're like, okay, but it's going to take like 10 years for me to make money out of it and become a big podcaster. Use it as motivation. Tell yourself, well, okay, 10 years maybe sounds a lot, but let's not forget, time goes by really quickly. And like they always say, if you chase your goals or if you don't chase your goals, time will go by either way. It's not like, okay, I'm not going to chase my goals, so time's going to stop, so I'm going to have more time. No. If you choose to chase your dreams, or if you don't choose to chase your dreams, time will go by either way. So you might as well just fucking go ahead and chase your dreams and fail as much as you can fail, learn as much as you can fail, and do as much as you can do. That's how you should see it. I mean, either way, time will go by. So use that as motivation. Do the most that you can. Try the most things that you can. And like I said, from what we know, maybe someday we're going to realize, no, actually, you know what? We have multiple lives. Our soul transfers into another body in the afterlife. There's an afterlife, whatever. But from what we know right now, with the knowledge that we have right now, with the findings that we have right now, in 2025, you only have one life. You only live once. YOLO. I know that's fucking, it's corny as hell, but from what we know right now, it's true. You only live once. And don't take the risk of, oh, maybe I'm going to have a new life. Don't take that fucking risk. You only live once. So live your life to the fucking fullest. Everything that God gave you is more than enough to accomplish everything your heart desires to accomplish. Whatever your soul desires to accomplish, whatever your heart desires to accomplish, if you have that desire inside of you, if God put that desire inside of you, it's because you have the capabilities and the capacities and the talents to accomplish whatever your heart and your soul and your mind desires. Now, like I was talking with Julien Leblanc and Nick Kurshine recently, the mind needs to be in service of the heart and the soul and not the other way around. Because when your heart and soul is in the service of your mind, that's not your true destiny, and that's not what your soul truly wants. It's what your ego wants. And what your ego wants is wrong and is not right. It's not what you truly want, and it's not going to bring you joy. What is going to bring you fulfillment and joy is following your heart, following your intuition, following your soul, and putting your mind in service to your heart and your soul. That's when you will fulfill your full destiny and fulfill everything you want to fulfill. That's how it's done. So everything that your heart desires, we're all different. We all have different ambitions. We all have different dreams. We all have different everything. But whatever your heart and your soul desires, God gave you the capacities and the capabilities of accomplishing those dreams. If He didn't, if He gave you different talents, we all have different talents, right? If He gave you different talents, He would have given you different ambitions and different dreams to chase. But since we're all different, we all have different talents, we all have a different genetic code, we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And because of that, since we're all different, we all have a different genetic code. Every single human being on planet Earth is different. There's no two exact same human beings. There's none of that. I understand doppelgangers, someone who looks like you, that's different. But the same genetic code, that's impossible. There's never been an individual like you in the past. There's not one like you in the present. And there's never ever going to be another you with the same genetic code. It's literally impossible. So whatever your heart wants, whatever your dream is, whatever your ambitions are, whatever your goals are, they've been put inside of you because God put them inside of you. Now, if you're not religious, if you don't believe in God, the universe, whatever you believe in, whatever higher power you believe in, it put it inside of you so that you can accomplish your dreams and accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. Now, if you tell me you're not someone who believes in a higher power or in God or whatever, broski, if you look at planet Earth and then you look at the entire space, the entire galaxy, all the other planets, all the other different galaxies that exist, like the Milky Way is our galaxy, but it's so small compared to all these other galaxies that exist. Believe me, we're really, really small and there is a higher power. It can be whatever you... Some people call it God. Some people call it karma. Some people call it Buddha. Some people call it Allah. Some people call it the universe. Some people call it whatever. But whatever you believe in, it put it inside of you for you to go and accomplish, fulfill your destiny. Every single human being has a destiny on planet Earth. Every single human being has a goal to accomplish on planet Earth. Every single human being, his soul has something to accomplish. And the only way by accomplishing it is by facing your fears. That's why Carl Jung said it so many times. He was the first one to say it. Jordan Peterson said it so many times. All these people who acquired crazy knowledge, who fully got in touch and in contact with their soul, they all say that your task is where your fear is. Because we all have different fears. It's normal. All human beings have different fears. And the reason we all have different fears is we're all fucking different. And what your soul is looking to accomplish, where your soul is seeking, what your soul is seeking, that is seeking your soul. So in order for you to reach what your soul is seeking, you have to seek what your soul is seeking. And to get to where your soul is seeking and to get what your soul is seeking, you have to face all of your fears. Don't see them as fears, see them as challenges. And remember, we are all powerful beyond measure. So no matter how big of a challenge your fears may look like, may seem, just remember, yes, they may look fucking dangerous. They may look really fucking scary. But always remember one thing. You are way more powerful than any challenge that will ever be put in front of you. No matter what challenge God or the universe puts in your way, you are way stronger and you can accomplish and you can surmount those dreams and those challenges way easier. Maybe not way easier, but you have the potential to surpass any challenge that God or the universe or a higher power puts in front of you. You have that power. As human beings, we are all powerful beyond measure, and we're all way, way more powerful than what we think. Like the saying goes, humans can move mountains if they want to. That's how powerful we are. And talking about fear, fear is something normal. It's something all human beings have fear. If you hear a human being saying, "Oh, I don't have fear. I don't fear nothing," for just know that that person, first of all, is lying. He's a liar. Second of all, he or she doesn't have the guts or the balls to admit that he or she has fears. That means that that person, so a person who doesn't have the balls or the guts to admit that he or she has fears is way, way further away from facing their fears and accomplishing their goals and of facing their fears with success than the person who admits, okay, I have fears. I admit it. I am afraid of public speaking. I am afraid of talking to my dad. I'm afraid of something. I'm afraid of standing up for myself. I'm afraid for whatever your fear is. If you're capable of admitting that you have a fear or that you have a problem, you're way, way closer to facing that fear and to surmounting that fear than someone who doesn't even have the capability or the guts to admit that he or she has a fear. So first step is admitting that you have a fear or that you have a problem. That's the first step. And then after that, it's actually putting in the actions and doing the actions that will make you not fear what you fear in the beginning and to surmount your fears and your challenges. So first of all, you have to admit. And also, they don't care about us and live our lives. Yes. It's the reason why all human beings have fears is it's a normal, natural instinct that all animals have. If you think about it, humans have been put on planet Earth for two purposes only. If we talk about it scientifically, anthropologically, and biologically, human beings have been put on this earth to survive and reproduce. That's the only thing our body, our instinct cares about. Reproducing and surviving. So all the fears that we have, it may be generational fear, it may be acquired by living life through childhood trauma or just by living experiences in life. But fears exist, they're inside of us so that we have higher chances of surviving and reproducing because that's the only thing our body cares about. Our mind, not our mind, but our instinct doesn't care about us accomplishing our dreams, us becoming a better version of ourselves. It only cares about, I have to survive and reproduce. That's the only thing they care about. So that's why it's normal that all human beings have fear because every single human being has that animalistic instinct inside of them to survive and to reproduce. But we as human beings, we have consciousness, something that animals don't have. We have consciousness. And that's why ever since we became sedentary, before when we were nomad, it was different. We just wanted to survive and to reproduce. But now since we're sedentary, we want to accomplish dreams. We want to create new things. We want to innovate. We want to create this. We want to create high rises. We want to innovate cars. We want to whatever. We have dreams for us as human beings since we have consciousness and since we are sedentary, meaning that we have the time that we don't have to worry about going hunting to survive because we can go to the fucking grocery store and buy food and survive. And then we can find a girlfriend and reproduce with our girlfriend. So we don't have that anymore. We don't have the necessity for those instincts anymore. But we remain animals. Human beings remain animals. And we're always going to have that inside of our DNA because we've been like that. We've been nomad for 200,000 years. And we've been only sedentary for like 4,000 or 5,000 years. So it's a huge, huge fucking difference. I know we've been sedentary for like 4 to 5,000 years. And people can be like, oh, yo, that's a fucking lot. It is a lot. But compared to 200,000 years of having a nomad lifestyle, of course, that instinct isn't going to go away. It's engraved inside of us as human beings to have that instinct to have fear. So it protects us from the unknown, fear of the unknown. So it increases our chances of surviving and reproducing. But now, not living in the jungle, we don't have to fear something in the jungle. A lion might kill me or a predator might kill me and then I'm like when I reproduce, I have to reproduce quickly because someone might kill me, whatever. We don't have that lifestyle anymore. That's why we have these conflictions in our minds that comes from our instinct of having those fears where when we don't need to have those fears because let's say you have fear of public speaking, right? Now, if I do a podcast or just I speak publicly and I literally speak my mind, no one can kill me. No one's going to kill. I mean, circumstances, of course, it can happen. Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, many other people, they got killed for they got killed for simply expressing themselves. It can happen, but in general, you know what I mean? Nothing's gonna happen, right? You have the right to say what you want. Nothing's gonna happen, and you're still gonna find people who agree with what you say. Of course, you're also gonna find people who don't agree with what you say, but that's just normal. That's just normal, right? So you're gonna find a girlfriend who agrees with what you say or sees the world the same way you do, and you're gonna find people, friends, a society, a social setting where people agree with what you say, and then you're gonna fit in with them like a glove, right? We're all different, so that's normal. But nowadays, we don't need to have the necessity anymore to have those survival instincts that we needed and that helped us survive in the past for the past 200,000 years when we lived in the forest or in a jungle or whatever. But now we don't need them anymore. So that's why face your fears. I mean, as long as it's a rational fear. I'm not saying if you're afraid of fucking lions, don't go in a lion cage because you might literally get killed. But fears that are keeping you from evolving as a human being and fears that are keeping you from getting closer to accomplishing your dreams and fulfilling your destiny that your soul seeks, those fears, go ahead and face them. Nothing's going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen is something positive. You're going to grow as a human being, you're going to get better, and you're going to get closer and closer to your dreams. So those fears, go ahead. Don't be afraid. Face them like a fucking animal and don't be afraid, man. Okay, so guys, recently I saw like a list, I think it was on Instagram, on how much money OnlyFans creators make. It's so fucking crazy, man. Your OnlyFans creators make I mean, of course, I'm talking about the top 1%, like the rest, they don't make shit or like it's certain levels. There is probably like a big percentage of OnlyFans creators that don't make any money because people just don't give a fuck about them. But the top 1% of OnlyFans earners, they make a lot of fucking money. Like I saw somewhere Sophie Rain made as much money in a year as LeBron fucking James. Guys, do you know who LeBron James is? The GOAT of one of the biggest sports on planet Earth. He's the fucking GOAT. And there's an OnlyFans woman who made as much as he did in a year. You know how crazy that is? And even though Sophie Rain, I mean, she's really beautiful, right? Physically. But, I mean, she's probably never going to see this. And even if she does, I mean, I'm just speaking facts. There are many more women prettier than her, way better looking than her. Now, why is she the one who makes the most money? I don't know. There has to be a reason. I never paid for OnlyFans, and I'm never going to pay for OnlyFans. Why? Because, like I spoke once with Johnny B on a podcast, you know porn is free, right? So if I want to watch that type of content, well, I'm going to watch free porn. Why? Because it's fucking free. I'm not paying OnlyFans. That's fucking crazy, in my opinion. No disrespect to people who are paying OnlyFans, but that's just crazy, man. But yeah, to get back to the point, they make so much money. I just want to pull up this graph, like these stats, I guess. How much money did the top 1% of OnlyFans creators make this year? Let's see, man. It's like something crazy. Industry analysis estimates that to be in the top 1% of creators in 2025, you generally need to be earning at least around $15,000 to $80,000 per month in earnings after OnlyFans cut, roughly $180,000 to nearly $1 million plus per year. Other estimates put an average monthly income for the top 1% at about blah, blah, blah. Analysis indicate the top 1% of creators capture a significant slice of platform revenue, often estimated at around 1/3 of total earnings. So 1/3 of all OnlyFans earnings goes to 1% of creators. So already there you see the difference. Exact global payout totals change yearly as platforms transactions grow. But with OnlyFans handling billions in annual payments, that means top creators are collectively earning many hundreds of millions or potentially billions in total across the top 1%. Examples of top individual creators. High-profile creators often earn in the multi-million-dollar range annually, far above the basic top 1% cutoff. Reports lists creators like Sophie Rain earning around $43 million per year. What the actual fuck? $43 million per year to sell pictures online, or probably even videos. I mean, if it's only pictures, man, kudos to her, but to make $43 million per year, man, it's fucking crazy. Cardi B made around $47 million per year. Bella Thorne made around $37 million. Iggy Azalea made around 36. Bad Baby made around 34. And Belle Delphine made around 34 million. These estimates vary depending on how top 1% is identified. Most creators in the top 1% likely earn at least 6 figures annually, often significantly more. Elite individual creators are earning tens of millions of dollars per year, man. Crazy, man. What the actual fuck, man. So they say that the top 1% makes around $180 to $1 million per year. The top elite, which is the top 0.1%, makes around $1 million to $10 million or more. And the top individual stars, like the stars I just named, Sophie Rain, Cardi B, Bella Thorne, Iggy Azalea, Bad Baby, Belle Delphine, they make around $30 million to $50 million annually, bro. What the actual fuck, man? Wow, bro. Yo, if I was a girl and I was bad, shit, would I do OnlyFans? Is it worth it? Because, like it or not, it fucks up your... I mean, does it really fuck up your life that much? I don't know. I guess I have to have like an OnlyFans girl on and ask her these questions. But from my logical mind, my logical reasoning, one thing's for sure, if I had a girl, I wouldn't want her to do OnlyFans. If I had a girlfriend, I don't care how much fucking money she would make, I wouldn't want for her to do OnlyFans. And if I had a daughter, no matter how much fucking money she makes, I wouldn't want her to do OnlyFans. That's for sure. Now, if I was a girl, a really hot girl, and I had the possibility to make a lot of money, I don't know if I would do it, man. Because then, of course, after that, like it or not, I'm just a messenger. You're seen as, quote unquote, as a slut by society. Who's going to want to marry you? I mean, you're going to find a guy who's going to want to marry you, but not a top tier guy. I mean, a top G, like Andrew Tate. You're going to find a guy, but not a top tier guy, individual. You're always going to be seen as a whore. If you have kids, your kids are going to get bullied the shit out of them in school. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, like I said, if I had a daughter, I don't care how much money she would make, I wouldn't want her to do OnlyFans. And if I had a girlfriend or a wife, I don't care how much money she would make, I wouldn't want her to do OnlyFans. That's my opinion, but it's just crazy how much money they fucking make, OnlyFans girls. Let me compare them to athletes. Can you compare the top earners from OnlyFans with the top basketball players in the NBA in earnings? I'm telling you, bro, I heard somewhere that Sophie Rain made more than fucking LeBron James. And LeBron James, guys, is the GOAT of basketball. One of the biggest sports on planet Earth, and he's a fucking GOAT. Quick comparison. Sophie Rain. So Sophie Rain made around 40 to 43 million. Stephen Curry. Okay. So listen. Stephen Curry was the highest paid NBA player in 2025. He made around $160 million. But in the $160 million, so that's way, way more than Sophie Rain simply with OnlyFans, right? But if you look at his salary, so only from his team salary, Stephen Curry made $55.8 million. That's really close to Sophie Rain making $43 million only from OnlyFans. And then, of course, Stephen Curry made $100 million from endorsements and other ventures. So, of course, he makes more, but I fucking hope so. That's fucking Stephen Curry. But then again, Sophie Rain only made $43 million. She made $43 million from OnlyFans. But also she can make more money with, maybe with streaming, with other types of content, with promotions, with sponsors. So this is only with OnlyFans what she made. So maybe also she earned like close to what Stephen Curry earned altogether, because now I'm comparing Sophie Rain with only OnlyFans and then Stephen Curry with with his NBA, his basketball contract, with everything else. So maybe even then, Sophie Rain is really, really close to Stephen Curry. But just the fact that I'm comparing Sophie Rain with Stephen Curry is fucking crazy. But hey, I guess we live in a world where, you know how they say sex sells, and it sells a fucking lot, man. Talking about OnlyFans and porn stars. So recently, what I saw with Lana Rhodes and many of these other porn stars is them, once they retire from that industry, they want all of their content taken down by these porn sites like Pornhub and whatever other sites there are. Now, this is how I see it. If that video is the property of that porn site, she has no right in deciding if that video will be taken down. Now, I understand her, like, women, they can change. They can maybe change their life, and then they don't want to have, like, they want to delete their past. I understand that, and I respect that also. I respect that. But at the same time, you have to respect the fact that the reason Lana Rhodes became so popular and so rich isn't because she's smart. Maybe she is smart, but it wasn't for her intellect. It wasn't for her talents. Well, I mean, talents, maybe you can consider that talent, what she was doing. But it was because of porn. That's the only reason why she became so famous and so rich. So I respect the fact that I'm just using her as an example, but all these other porn stars like Mia Khalifa who want to change their life and delete their past, I respect that. But at the same time, you have to respect the fact that the reason you're so popular and so rich, and the reason that you have such a beautiful lifestyle is because of porn. Without porn, you wouldn't have that lifestyle. Now, maybe you would have had a different career path and you still would have ended up being really successful. That's a different story. But right now, what is true on paper is the reason you're rich and successful and famous is because of porn. And now speaking legally, if you don't legally own the video, if Pornhub owns the video and they didn't do anything illegal, they have the right to keep that video on because they make money off of that video. So, I mean, I understand and I respect the fact that these porn stars and these OnlyFans girls, whatever, they want to, in the future, some of them want to change their lives, have these transformations and delete their past. I respect that. But at the same time, you have to respect, like, I mean, the only reason Kim Kardashian got fucking rich and famous is because she did a sex tape. Of course, she was the best friend of Paris Hilton. And then, of course, after that, she did a lot of smart moves. Kudos to the Kardashian family. They did a lot of smart moves, like with their reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and then them starting their makeup line and whatever. Like, they're real entrepreneurs, like it or not, it's a fact. But don't take sex out of the equation. Don't take porn out of the equation, because you know that was like the fire that ignited everything. So you have to respect that fact also. In my opinion, that's how I see it. Okay, guys, so recently I saw a podcast where Piers Morgan had Nick Fuentes on. So Piers Morgan, a big journalist. Now he's like I think he got like expelled from his job because he said something that wasn't like politically correct. He got expelled from like his job as a host for like this big TV station in England. So now he started like his own podcast, his own TV station, whatever you call it, but it's like a talk show, right? So Piers Morgan, a highly decorated and a big veteran of the journalism game and of the TV journalism broadcasting game. He brought Nick Fuentes on. For people who don't know who Nick Fuentes is, he's like I can say he's basically like a KKK member. He's really fucking racist. I'm not gonna lie. Nick Fuentes, yeah. So he's like I never really watched his content, the long form content that he produces. I only saw clips here and there. And of course, some clips can be taken out of context. I understand that. But at the end of the day, from what I saw, he's really, really close to being considered, if not already considered, a white supremacist, Nick Fuentes. But so, yeah, Piers Morgan had him on. They talked about all different topics regarding life. Piers Morgan asked him a lot of different questions, and I didn't watch it, but I saw clips. And there's a clip where Nick Fuentes says that he's attracted to women, but he never had sex with a woman, and that he's a virgin. Nick Fuentes, for your knowledge, he's like 27, 28. Yeah, he's 28 years old, and he's really rich because of what he does. He's really famous. He's really rich, and he's really famous. So now everyone was bashing him because he's really misogynistic, and he makes a lot of claims that are really sexist. Even I can admit they're really, really sexist. Like, he believes that women should have their right to vote, which is crazy. I mean, in 2025, that's really crazy. Now, is he just fucking around? Is he just saying that for clicks? Is he just saying that because he knows that his audience likes hearing that? Or does he truly believe that? I don't know. But if I take it at face value, and if I take him for what he actually says, he literally says that women shouldn't have the right to vote, which is fucking crazy. That's really sexist. And he says many other things like women should only be in the kitchen and men should be out here voting and working and doing business or whatever. So that's really sexist. And that's when, so he's seen as a really racist guy and a really sexist guy. So that's why when he said that he was attracted to women, but that he's a virgin, many people went online and said, oh, no shit, he's a virgin. He's so sexist. He looks like an incel. He acts like an incel. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, people were saying that they're not surprised that he's a virgin. I understand that you don't like or respect Nick Fuentes. I don't really like him because I feel like he's really racist and really sexist. But if I'm being rational, I'm surprised. If it's true, I'm surprised that he's a virgin. Why? Because he's really rich and he's really famous. I don't care what his personality is like. I don't care what he looks like physically. I mean, he's not ugly. He's not fucking Brad Pitt, but he's not ugly at the same time. I don't care what he looks like or what his personality is like. He's rich and famous. And bros, he's like 28 years old. There's no way. He definitely has women chasing him because he's rich and famous. There's no way as a 28-year-old, you're going to say no to all the women like, no, I'm going to stay virgin. Like, broski. Personally, I understand that you can hate him and not respect him. But to say that you're not surprised that he's a virgin, that's cap. I'm surprised, and I don't believe him. I don't believe he's a virgin. The reason I think he's lying that he's a virgin is because he preaches Christianity and not having sex before marriage. So that's why, I mean, if he preaches about not having sex before marriage and that you should only have sex if it's for reproduction reasons, then of course it's going to sound better if he also says, oh, well, I'm a virgin, so that's why I'm preaching that virginity is good. Because broski, I don't care what his personality is like. I don't care who he fucking looks like. I don't care what he looks like. Being a 28-year-old man, straight, attracted to women, there's no way you're restraining yourself from having sex, especially him who's really, really rich and really famous. There's no way he has like this bombshell girl who's a racist, probably a racist, a Nazi girl, but still they can be really fucking hot with blonde hair and blue eyes. There's no way he's like, no, I'm not gonna have sex with you, broski. If that's the case, then he's gay, because broski, that's just crazy. So that's why, in my opinion, I think he's capping. I don't think he's a virgin. I think he just said it because he's preaching about being a virgin and waiting until marriage. So that's why he's like, oh, well, I practice what I preach. But if I'm being honest, bro, I don't think he's a virgin. Broski, I'm not rich, I'm not famous, I'm not a virgin. I mean, he's definitely not a virgin, you know what I mean? So I think that's pure cap. And people saying that they're not surprised, yo, guys, stop the cap. I understand you don't like him. I understand he's a racist, he's a sexist and whatever. But guys, he's rich, he's famous, he has status, he has power, he has a lot of people following him, he has a big following list. Even though you don't like the people who follow him, you don't agree with what they say, there's no way he's a fucking virgin, bro. That's just crazy, man. Okay, so guys, Christmas is coming up early. Not early, but it's coming up soon, Christmas. And recently, there's been like this wave. I remember like when I was young, we all used to say Merry Christmas and there was no problem there. And then with this woke era that came in like 2015, 2016, I guess that's where like the woke era started. It was seen as bad to say Merry Christmas, and we shouldn't say Merry Christmas. We should say Happy Holidays because not everyone is Christian. In my opinion, broski, if I go and live in Algeria, which is a Muslim country, and they don't say Merry Christmas, but they say something else, I don't know what they say, what they celebrate, I wouldn't be offended. I would be like, yeah, I came to Algeria. They have their own religion. They have their own traditions. I'm going to respect that. And not only that, I'm going to be telling them, hey, you know what? Whatever they say, I'm going to be saying that to them to show respect. And out of respect, I'm going to be telling them, even though I'm not Muslim, even though I'm a Christian, but I understand I'm not dumb. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm not Muslim, okay? But I did come here. I'm not a guest, like I'm a citizen, but in a way, traditionally and culturally wise, I am a guest, and I'm gonna respect their way of life. I'm gonna respect their culture and their traditions. So whatever they say, whatever they celebrate, I'm gonna encourage them, and I'm gonna tell them to their face, hey, marry whatever it is. Same goes here. The Western world is of course secular, but it's a Christian majority nation. The Western world is majoritarily Christian. So of course it's normal that they go around, you see Christmas lights everywhere, you see Santa Claus everywhere, people dressing up as Santa Claus, and it's normal that everyone says Merry Christmas. I don't understand how people can see that as offensive. I don't understand. When I was in Bosnia, I have a lot of my family members and cousins who live in Bosnia. Bosnia is 93% Muslim. I'm Christian. When I was there during the summer, once I was there during the summer to see my cousins, they celebrate Ramadan, right? I forgot what they say. I guess, let's say it's Happy Ramadan. When I was there, I would literally tell everyone, hey, Happy Ramadan, man. Because I know you're a Muslim. I know I'm in your country where it's 93% Muslim. Hey, Happy Ramadan. I'm not Muslim, but I can still congratulate them and say Happy Ramadan. I wish you guys all the best. And I wish you celebrate whatever you guys celebrate. I wish you all the best. Same goes here. I don't understand how people can see it as something politically incorrect or something wrong to say Merry Christmas to everyone, where it's a nation, it's a world, it's a part of the world where everyone is majoritarily Christian and everyone celebrates Christmas. It's just what it is. There's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong there. There's nothing mean there. There's nothing inhumane there. It's just like crazy. For people to say that saying Merry Christmas is offensive, y'all are way too woke and that's just too much. Saying happy holidays, no, it's Christmas. We're celebrating Christmas. It's a Christian country and we're always going to celebrate Christmas and there's nothing wrong there. And I don't understand why some people who aren't Christian, they get offended. Why would you get offended? And why do you take it so personally? Like I said, if I was to go live in Iraq, right? In Iraq, fucking 99.9% Muslim country, and I'm Christian, right? During Ramadan, I would tell everyone, and personally, I wouldn't see it as degrading. I wouldn't take it personally, and I wouldn't even care. I'd just be like, yeah, let them celebrate whatever they want to celebrate. It's their tradition. I respect it. It's their culture. I respect it. Hey, happy Ramadan, man. Why would I get offended? Why would I care? And even if he was to tell me, hey, happy Ramadan, because he doesn't know me and he assumes since the country is fucking 99% Muslim, he then assumes that I'm also Muslim. If he was to tell me happy Ramadan, I would simply say, hey, thank you, man. I will smile. Happy Ramadan to you too. And I would go on with my life. Who cares? I mean, who gives a fuck? If someone was to tell me happy Ramadan and I'm not Muslim, why would I give a fuck? I'd just say like, I probably wouldn't even waste time. I'd just be like, yeah, happy Ramadan. Hey, you too, man. Thank you. God bless. That's it. Why would I give a fuck? Same goes for here. I don't know why people get so offended. I don't understand why so many non-Christians get offended when you tell them Merry Christmas, even though they're not Christian. Why would you give a fuck? I mean, you understand it's a Christian nation. Mostly everyone is Christian, and mostly everyone celebrates Christmas here. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, if I was in fucking Iraq, happy Ramadan. Hey man, thank you. You too. Wish you all the best. But hey, that's my opinion, and it is what it is. Okay, guys, so recently I had Isaac Herbert on my podcast. Shout out to him. And I remember on the podcast, he told me like, yo, broski, there's something I can tell you right now. You're going to think I'm a psycho. Then I'm like, okay, like, tell me. Like, if you don't want to tell me, it's okay. I understand. You don't want to say it in front of a camera. But if you want to tell me, sure, go ahead. He's like, sometimes when I get negative thoughts, I start talking with those negative thoughts. And not like, I don't start bashing them, but I simply start talking with them like, let's say you have a negative thought and your brain is like, yo, broski, you're not going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And he simply starts talking with that thought, and he simply starts talking with like normal dialogue, like example, why do you think I'm not going to accomplish that? Why do you think I'm not good enough? Like he challenges those thoughts. That's peak mental strength. We all get negative thoughts from time to time. And what all the biggest philosophers, all the biggest human psychologists like Carl Jung, like Jordan Peterson, they all say the best way to deal with negative thoughts, with bad thoughts, which we all get from time to time and which we all have, is not to get all mad, is not to get sad, is to simply challenge them. And he does that naturally. Yo, that's peak mental strength, bro. That's why Probably he's so fucking dominant in his sport, Isaac Herbert. That's why he's probably so dominant in his fucking sport, because that's peak mental strength. Not getting mad and not getting all emotional over negative thoughts, not dwelling on them and not letting those negative thoughts and those negative emotions have power over you, but simply challenging them with respect. Like I said, negative thought comes in. Hey, broski, you're not good enough. You're not going to accomplish it, whatever. You're going to lose this fight. You simply challenge it. Why do you think I'm going to lose this fight? Why do you think I'm not good enough? And that's how you shut down those negative thoughts. That's the best way to shut down your negative thoughts, man. I just want to talk about it, and it's crazy, man. And also, if you think about it, many people get negative thoughts because they start comparing their lives with other people's lives. Broski, it's always you against you. It's always been you against you. And it's always going to be simply you against you. You should only focus on who you are, who you've been, and who you want to be. Never focus on other people's lives. You don't have control over it. And we all have different lives. We all have different start points. We all have different upbringing. We all have different everything. We're all unique. So you should only focus on your life, and you should only focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And day by day, step by step, slowly but surely, becoming a better version of you day by day. That's the only thing you should care about. Okay, so guys, now I have a wild take from Novak Djokovic, my Serbian brother, one of the tennis goats. But what he said right now is so fucking crazy, man. What the actual fuck? Djokovic, you know how much I love you? Respect, brate, volim te, brate. But this was fucking crazy. You said, and I'm quoting him, I'm going to be bold. Portugal will win the World Cup. Already there, broski, you lost me. If Portugal win the World Cup, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put like a bet. I'm going to make a bet with someone. If Portugal wins the World Cup, I'm going to do something ludicrous. I'm going to... Listen, if Portugal wins the World Cup, I'm tattooing Cristiano Ronaldo on my body. I'm making a tattoo of Cristiano Ronaldo on my body. That's how confident I am that Portugal are not going to win the World Cup. Like I said, they have an amazing team. One of the greatest teams they ever had. This is one of their strongest teams they ever had. We spoke about it many times, me and Luca. But to win the World Cup, when you have Spain, Argentina, France, Germany, England, Brazil, there's no fucking way. They're going to be good, but there's no way they're winning it. And like I said, I'm going to clip this. Don't worry. If Portugal win the 2026 World Cup, I'm going to tattoo Cristiano Ronaldo on my body. It can be his face. It can be his name. It can be CR7, whatever. I'm going to tattoo something on my body that has to do with CR7, with Cristiano Ronaldo. Sweet baby Jesus, please don't let them win. I don't want to have a Cristiano Ronaldo tattoo on my body. Please, Jesus, I don't want that to happen. But that's how confident I am that it's not going to happen. Now, I understand Djokovic wants to be bold, wants to be whatever, wants to make like a crazy... Because, you know, everyone who knows football, everyone who has football IQ, we all say the same, right? We all say it's either between Argentina, Spain, France, England, and Germany, and Brazil who are going to win the World Cup. It's those 6 teams, right? So maybe he wanted to be like a hipster with his fucking saying that Portugal are going to win it, but that's just crazy. And then he went on to say, like, just him saying that Portugal are going to win the World Cup, already that's enough ludicrous. But that wasn't enough for Djokovic as a pure Serbian. He had to add even more ludicrous takes. He said, and they'll beat Mexico in the final. On everything I love, if Mexico reaches the World Cup final, I will tattoo the Mexican flag on my entire chest. I don't have a chest tattoo right now. This is all clean. There's nothing here. I'm going to tattoo the entire Mexican flag here, and I'm going to tattoo El Chapo on my arm. Bro, I don't know. There's no way on God's green earth. I don't care what happens. I don't care if God can be by Mexico's side in the World Cup. They're not reaching the World Cup final. They're not reaching the final. Jesus can be by their side. Buddha can be by their side. Allah can be by their side. Fucking, I don't know who's the Hindu god and who's whoever. All the gods could come together and be by Mexico's side for the World Cup. They're not reaching the final. Mexico to reach the final? What the actual fuck? If it happens, I'm going to tattoo the entire Mexican flag on my chest, and I'm going to tattoo El Chapo somewhere. And since Djokovic, if Djokovic is bold claim comes to fruition, meaning that Portugal win the World Cup against Mexico in the final, I'm dedicating my life to Novak Djokovic. He's gonna be my new Jesus Christ. Jesus, I'm sorry to say that, but if he makes this crazy prediction, and it happens, I'm not gonna be a Christian anymore. I'm gonna be a Djokovician now. That's how fucking crazy it is what he said. Okay, so guys, recently, it's been a long time, but before, when I was younger, I would only care about traveling. When I was a student and I used to work part-time as a bartender or in bars, all the money I would make would be in traveling. And I would all invest it. I saw it as an investment. Whenever I travel, I see it as an investment because traveling, in my opinion, is the best investment you can make, especially when you're young. You have to travel the world. You have to meet new people, see new cultures, live new experiences. And there's no bigger experience you can live than when traveling in a different culture, in a different country, in a different time zone, in a different whatever. The experiences you're going to live when you travel, there's nothing that comes close to those experiences. Nothing. I don't care which city you live in. I don't care who your dad is, what family you've been brought up in. There's no bigger experience. There's no bigger investment. There's no bigger whatever that will make you grow as a human being and expand your horizons more than traveling. Traveling is by far the best investment and the funnest investment you can make. When traveling you're going to learn so much. You're going to gain way more new knowledge. You're going to be a way more knowledgeable person, way more smarter person, a way more open-minded person. And you're just going to be more like united, more in touch with your soul and your intuition and with the universe, man. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy experience to travel, man. And it's like the funnest thing to do, man. It's by far the funnest thing to do is to travel, man. Okay, guys, so recently, the Golden Globes, this is something new, but now they have a new category for Best Podcast. So the first podcast nominated for a Golden Globe were revealed Monday. And the Joe Rogan Experience did not receive a nomination despite being the most popular podcast on all major podcast platforms in 2025. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, those three are the major platforms. And he's been the most popular on all three. This is crazy. You cannot say that Joe Rogan doesn't deserve to be nominated. Not only nominated, but to win. Like, we all know Joe Rogan Experience is the biggest podcast on planet Earth. We all know that JRE is by far the biggest podcast. And for them to shut out Joe Rogan, and the reason why is we all know is because Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, he talks about everything, but he talks a lot about politics, right? And that's, in my opinion, and we all know that's the reason why he didn't get nominated. And not only should he be nominated, he should have also fucking won. The inaugural Best Podcast Award nominated 6 titles: Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper, Good Hang with Amy Poehler, The Mel Robbins Podcast, Smartless, and Up First. For them to not nominate the Joe Rogan Experience podcast is fucking crazy. And the reason why is because he has a political podcast. I mean, he has a podcast about everything. He talks about sports, culture, religion, society, politics, philosophy, whatever. But since he talks about politics, that's why he didn't get nominated. But guys, like all these podcasts I named are really, really good and really, really big. But to not nominate the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, that's fucking crazy, man. In my opinion, I mean, he's the king of the podcasting world, Joe Rogan, and it is what it is, man. Like all these other podcasts are good, but no one comes close to the Joe Rogan Experience. Okay, so guys, recently in Quebec, in the Quebec City Hall, they have a crucifix of Jesus Christ on the cross. And recently, the crucifix will be removed from the Quebec City Hall after being there for 90 years. And the reason why is because Quebec wants to be laicité, which is no religion, right? So no Christianity, no Islam, no Judaism in the government, in the Quebec government. So that's why you're taking down the crucifix. I'm like 50-50 on this. I understand, like, if you are going to say that we are a laic government and a laic province, then of course, it doesn't only go for Muslims, it doesn't only go for Jews, it goes for all religions. So I understand that for them taking down the crucifix. But at the same time, like it or not, Quebec was founded by Christian people. It was founded by Christians, right? French people, Catholics. Quebec, which before was a Nouvelle-France, and there's like this big history of how Quebec and Canada were founded. But before, Quebec and Canada and North America were founded by Christian people. So, in my opinion, I would have kept the crucifix there in the city hall just in remembrance of when they built Quebec and when they built Canada. It was built on Christian values, built on Christian values by Christians and by Christian people and by the Christian religion. So, I mean, like it or not, yes, we are a secular country. We are a secular province, Quebec, but our country and our laws and our way of life, our culture, were all found on Christian values. It was built by Christian. The country was founded by Christians, and it was made by Christians, and it is now populated majoritarily by Christians. So I would have kept the crucifix, but I understand the logic of taking down the crucifix. Matt Walsh wrote on Twitter, and he said, I'm quoting him, African asylum seekers should seek asylum in another African country. Arab asylum seekers should seek asylum in an Arab country. Asian asylum seekers should seek asylum in an Asian country. Why the hell is it our job to provide asylum to misfits and outcasts from other continents? Let them find their asylum in a country with a similar culture, and if none of those countries will take them, well, that's all the more reason why we shouldn't either. I agree, man. Like, in my opinion, I agree to a certain degree. I agree and I disagree at the same time. I mean, of course, if you're an African and you can seek asylum in an African country, isn't that better for you? I mean, you're gonna go in a country where people are more similar to you. They're gonna be more tolerant towards you, and you're gonna have an easier way fitting in. You're gonna have an easier time fitting in than if you were to go in a country where the culture is completely different, where the people are completely different, and where the way of life is completely different. So, I mean, that's logical. That's really, really logical. Or same goes for Arab asylum seekers should seek asylum in an Arab country because it's basically the same culture. Of course, there are differences, but it's basically the same people. It's basically the same way of life. So that should make sense. But at the same time, I understand that, like it or not, it's a fact. Don't get angry at me, but white countries, so the Western countries, are the richest countries and the best countries to live in. That's why everyone wants to live there. Don't take my word for it. Simply take their actions. My parents, who aren't from the Western world, who are from the Eastern Europe, white country, Serbia, why didn't they go live to Senegal or to Congo when they were seeking for a better life in a better country, right? The reason they didn't is because those countries aren't a better country than Serbia. So they were in search of a better country. So that's why they came to Canada, one of the greatest countries on planet Earth. So we all know that white countries, especially white Western countries, are by far the best countries to live in economically, and just all together, they're the best country to live in. That's why everyone seeks asylum there, and that's why everyone wants to immigrate in the Western world, because it's the best country. But at the same time, I understand where Matt Walsh is coming from, but I'm like 50-50 on this, because maybe more like 80-20 on his side. Because just because we are the best country, just because we created the best country and the best environment and the best way of life, doesn't mean that we have to open our arms to everyone, and we don't owe anything to anyone. That's how I see it. So I agree with Matt Walsh, but like 80-20, maybe even 90-10, man. Recently, Mario Nafal wrote on Twitter, he said, white guilt is dead. Gen Z is done apologizing for history they didn't write. For years, young people in the West, especially white men, have been told they're the problem. They've been blamed for colonialism, slavery, inequality, and systems they didn't build. Elon Musk reshared it and wrote, "No more white guilt." I never understood where the fuck white guilt came from. Like the guy said in the beginning, Gen Z is done apologizing for history they didn't write. Well, no fucking shit. Why the fuck were Gen Z apologizing in the first time? If I didn't do something, I'm never going to apologize for something I didn't do. I don't care if my brother did it. I don't care if my dad did it. I'm not apologizing. Let alone if some guy, just because he shares the same skin color as me, did something that I have no fucking idea who that guy is. I have no affiliation to the guy. And the most important part, I'm not him. I cannot control his actions, so I don't give a fuck what he does. And I'm not apologizing for something that I didn't do. I can only speak for myself, and I can only speak for my actions. That's why even if my dad did something, that's my dad. He couldn't be closer to me in terms of genetics and in terms of relations. My dad and my brother and my mother, right? If they were to do something, I wouldn't apologize on their behalf. Why? I didn't fucking do it. I can only speak for my actions and for what I do, because that's the only thing I control. So Elon Musk, thank you. But I mean, I don't even understand how this was ever an issue, why white guilt ever even started existing. It's something that the woke people fucking invented. It's really fucking stupid in my opinion. But thank you for highlighting this. Lamine Yamal's dad, bro, I have personal beef with him right now because recently he said, and this is just fucking crazy, bro. Like I said once, keep Lamine Yamal away from his dad, bro. Yo, he's gonna be the downfall of Lamine Yamal, I swear to God, man. He said, Lamine blessed Leo Messi. I don't know. For me, my son is the best at everything. You know the picture where Leo Messi is like 19 or 20 years old and he's holding a baby Lamine Yamal, which that picture, if I'm being honest, is really fucking crazy. And then people started saying, yo, Leo Messi blessed Lamine Yamal when he was born, when he was young, when he was a baby. And then that's why his dad said, or maybe Lamine blessed Messi. Broski, as much as I love your son, you know how much I decried Lamine Yamal, bro. How much I glaze Lamine Yamal. He's the greatest player right now on planet Earth. Top 3 easily players right now on planet Earth, right? Easily. Of course, Messi is still the greatest, but in Europe, he's top 3 right now after Messi. Messi is still first. I don't give a fuck. He's still first. You know how much I glaze your son, but this is just ludicrous. Your son, as talented as he is, he's never ever going to be like Leo Messi. I'm sorry, that doesn't mean he's going to end up being, if he keeps going in this trajectory, he's going to end up being top 10 players of all time. Lamine Yamal. He has that potential. He has that talent. Now, who knows what's going to happen? Many players in the past had the same level of talent that Lamine Yamal had, and nothing happened out of them. But he has the potential to end up a top 10 player of all time. But he's never going to be Leo Messi, man. I'm sorry. No one's ever going to be like Leo Messi. It's done. He completed football. He's the greatest of all time. He's going to be the king forever, the king of football forever. No one's ever going to dethrone him. No one's ever going to play on the pitch like he plays, except for Maradona and Ronaldinho. But no one's ever going to play that way and accomplish everything he accomplished. He completed football. That's it. There's nothing we can say. It's over, man. Next topic and last topic for this reality check. It's regarding football. Someone wrote on Twitter. Yo, it's probably a Portuguese guy because his @ is NoodleHairCR7. And he wrote, when it's all said and done, Bruno Fernandes sits on the same table as Xavi, Iniesta, Kroos, and Modric. What the actual fuck? When it's all said and done, Bruno Fernandes sits on the same table as Xavi, Iniesta, Kroos, and Modric. What the actual fuck? It's not even close. Bruno Fernandes, amazing player. But to compare him to Xavi, Iniesta, Kroos, and Modric, and out of those 4 players, in my opinion, Kroos isn't at the same level as Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric. In my opinion, Xavi, Iniesta are here, and Modric is either with them or just... No, Modric is with Xavi, Iniesta. That's how fucking good and dominant Modric was. So Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric are the same. Kroos cannot compete with Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric. Kroos cannot sit at the same table as Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric. And Kroos is one of the greatest passers of all time, one of the top 20 midfielders of all time, Toni Kroos, top 25 maybe. And Kroos cannot sit at the same table as Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric. And you're talking about Bruno Fernandes? Bruno Fernandes can't sit at the same table as Toni Kroos. Not even close. Bruno Fernandes couldn't even have one foot in the same table as Toni Kroos. He couldn't have one hand at the same table as Toni Kroos. And Toni Kroos can't sit at the same table as Iniesta, Modric, and Xavi. So this take from Noodle Hair CR7 is fucking crazy. It's ludicrous. Probably a Portuguese guy. But to compare Bruno Fernandes to Xavi, Iniesta, Modric, let alone Xavi, Iniesta, Modric, but to compare to Kroos is crazy. And you cannot compare Kroos to Modric, Xavi, Iniesta. But to compare Bruno Fernandes to Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric, that's fucking crazy. I don't know where he got the audacity to do what he did. But like I said, Bruno Fernandes cannot compare himself with Kroos. And Cruz, as good as he is, as talented as he was, as everything he accomplished, World Cup, 5 Champions League, everything he did, one of the greatest passers, amazing passer, amazing midfielder, amazing tempo controller, amazing everything. Cruz cannot and will never be able to sit at the same table as Xavi, Hernandez, Andres Iniesta, and Luka Modric. As good as he is, there is a difference. And then you're bringing up Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes can't even be in the same building. Bruno Fernandes can't even be in the same building as where that dinner is being held for the table of Xavi, Iniesta, and Modric. He can't even be in the same street. He can't even be in the same city. He can't even be in the same province. He can't even be in the same country. He can't even be in the same fucking planet. That's the difference of level. So guys, that was it for this reality check. See you next time. Peace out.